Rory, you did it?
I did it. Did you not hear
I
me?
didn't hear you.
No,
My new mic is quieter. Like it's my. Yeah, I did it. I did it. It'll be fine.
You did.
Probably.
Okay. So, hello and welcome to the Black Mind Podcast. My name is Jeff. Joining me, as always, is somebody else named Josh.
It's me. Back to ruin the podcast again.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
We brought him back.
Yeah.
I thought we put him in a closet.
Well, he got out, obviously. We didn't lock it.
Yeah. No. Okay. First of all, you did not bring me back. I just heard from Allan that you guys were doing the podcast, and I'm like, you know what? I got an hour to fuck around. I can do that. So I invited myself on.
That is actually
Perfect.
That is,
And no one has the power to resist me.
No, because he's like, I'm gonna join in, and I'm like, yes, you do.
yes, you do.
And this is how the creation of Autistic Alien happened.
Oh boy,
Jeff, I feel like you're just really self-confident, self-conscious about your modeling. So you're just trying to throw the word autistic around when describing it. But relax, dude. It's fine. I haven't touched modeling software since I graduated.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, even just trying to make a decent face in 3D without a ZBrush or anything, it's still tough as shit.
I mean, I'm just happy that now I have a tool. Now I have an idea of what is wrong, because it's so for people who don't understand, if you look at the episode image this week, you're going to see the worst fucking thing on the planet Earth. According to some people in this chat.
Oh my! We're okay, Jeff. We are making fun of you for making this thing. It's not like you have literally done something wrong. Just relax.
he has though.
Chill.
According to Allan,
he's getting okay. So this is the thing that okay. So every time I try to fuck with people, they you guys react in very specific ways. Allan gets super fucking defensive. Even when no one's calling him out, he gets really fucking defensive. Jeff just starts shitting on whatever he happens to be making in the hopes that other people won't do it for him.
And then
goddamn guys.
And then you try to make fun of me, and I'm like, yeah, let's roll with it. It's great. Come on, yeah, let's do it. Come on.
Yeah. Fucking hell. We were talking earlier about, I think me and Allan were talking about the podcast a week ago or something. And we just ended up talking about Josh and how oh yeah, we were talking about how old everyone was. It was me and Stephanie was talking about it. It was oh man, yeah, Alan's a year older than us, and then Josh is even older than that. And I'm like, yeah, but Josh is a giant baby. He's just Josh is the kind of person that is was a baby and then didn't get older, just got bigger. Someone just grabbed the corner and scaled him up.
I can agree with that. I can 100% agree with that.
I can too.
Yeah, I can. At least I look fuckable compared to some people who did not age after 10. I look way fuckable.
Oh man, those giant babies.
That was
so
going
fuckable.
away that I was not sure I wanted to follow.
Wow.
Because you know the movie AI, the really old. Steven Spielberg movie. So the main character in that movie for AI was a child actor.
Oh, God.
That it's a really old movie. But you look at him now, his face did not age. It's the same face. I'm not kidding. I should look up these images and just show them back and forth here because they're fucking hysterical. Because it's how did he not age at all? It's that makes no sense. It's just his body got bigger, but his face is the same. It's you can't fuck that. You can't fuck that at all.
Well, clearly you can. It's just called you have shitloads of money, man.
Yeah, you just need a prostitute. You'll just do
that's
whatever.
debatable.
How did this conversation derail so fucking
hold
hard?
on.
Because I'm the king, baby. The king.
He is not wrong.
Oh man, these giant babies are so fuckable, I guess.
Rory, I'm gonna respond with Rory. I'm gonna respond with you let us here.
Yeah.
I did not. No. You can lead the horse to water. You can lead the degenerate to the filth that they bathe in, but you can't make them get in there. That was on you. That was on you, motherfucker.
Well, how it's on me.
Oh man, this is gonna be a good podcast.
This is going to be a good podcast. On to our first
almost
topic.
as good as last week, eh, Jeff?
Fuck you.
I have heard rumors.
Just no.
I have
Fuck
heard
you.
rumors.
We're moving on. That's in the past.
I'm
We're not
okay.
talking about that.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm
Are
cool.
you, though?
I'm cool.
All I gotta
No need to
say
call
is
the
that,
police.
like, if anyone has any correlation and hatred for the show, I am blaming Allan and Josh
What's up, babe? Love you guys.
specifically,
Woo! Not me.
and sometimes Rory. But Rory, I can't really blame that much because he's not on the show all the time.
Because I'm just so lovable. Look at me. I am such a lovable
Are you
scamp.
though? Are you really?
Anyways, Canada got beat by Germany. Everyone should be mad because the Nazis,
Fuck off. Hold up.
All right, hold on.
the German
Hold on.
people who lost, and well, at least we can take pride in that we beat them in their national sport twice.
Okay, no. Hold up.
Okay, hold on.
Hockey.
No. Which hockey? Okay.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. Sports. I'm out.
Just like when we talk about politics, Josh is like, I'm out. No.
I'm done.
I'm out.
I watched the game this morning because I got up early. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, I watched the first two. I watched most of the second period and all the third, and like I'm watching the second. I'm like, just, every goal that Germany got, I'm like, holy fuck! Like that is like straight up like the stars aligned for every one of their goals because like there were ways I'm like that should not have happened, but it did, and I'm like, wow, okay. I guess this is how this game's going today. And I'm not upset because I made the comment to one of my buddies when I saw that Germany was going up against Canada. I was kind of like, I mean, I'd like to see Germany go to the gold round, but I want Canada to go to the gold round first. I won't be upset either way out of this. And he sent me a text. He's like, so you're pretty meh today. I'm like, I'm not too upset. Like it was a good match. It was actually a really fun match to watch because it really wasn't all that bad. Mind you, I feel like the refs were kind of just. I'm not even going to talk about the refs. The refs are being weird this year as usual. But hey, what do I know? Guys? Oh, wow.
Hockey.
I'm just disappointed. Like, here's the thing: is like we got fucked this Olympics. I think it's
we
safe
are
to say.
second place.
Multiple.
We have, as of right now, 27 medals. We have. How did we get fucked?
Okay, we got fucked because we didn't have our NHL stars.
I can't.
Yes,
no,
we did.
I don't care. It was this team has been
wrong.
phenomenal, even without the NHL players. It's just I think, as I said, Germany had our number. It's gonna happen. It happened to the girls this year. I'm not upset about that.
Well, okay. Second on the girls. Why is a gold medal game decided by a shootout?
It's well, that means they tied. They went to overtime, and then they went into shootout.
Because the death battles are illegal, Jeff.
Hey, I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, that's how that is. Even with the Stanley Cup.
I'm just saying that, like, it's bullshit.
No, it isn't.
That's my opinion. Yes, it is. I feel salty. Let me feel salty.
Don't
goddammit.
feel salty.
Don't
feel salty. They lost after 6 shooters. They had to go through 3 periods, go through overtime, and then had to take 6 shooters. Do you know how like hard that is? Like, America would deserve to win this year.
No,
yes,
they didn't. Shut up. You're wrong. Anyways, Germany beat Canada.
If they won, then they deserve
At least
to
we
win.
can take solace in the fact that we beat them at their national sport twice.
What was their national sport?
World Wars.
I mean,
Shut the fuck up.
oh,
You told that joke like 4 times, and then like someone finally asked a follow-up question, and you got to deliver the punchline.
are you proud of yourself, Jeff? Are you proud of yourself?
Well, but
Good.
well, but
I applaud the persistence. That was all right.
This question period's getting pretty heated. I have an oven off to the side for you if you want it. Anyways,
I don't like final solutions, man.
anyways, what else are we doing here?
I don't know. We could talk about Burnout Remastered, or we could talk about how Titanfall 2 is still fun.
Titanfall 2 is still
Titanfall
fun.
is
Yep,
still
people
fun.
should play it.
I like that game a lot.
Nobody should play it because Rory likes that game a lot.
Fuck you,
Wow.
Jeff. I swear to God, I'll start swearing on this podcast.
Start with the N word.
You'll say the same words you can't say on television.
Start with the N, and then just proceed from there.
No. Please don't.
The power.
Anyways, Titanfall 2 is still
My
fun.
courage is not high enough. I need to eat more ramen.
Titanfall 2 is still fun. It's a really good game.
Yeah, it is.
People should play it more. Destiny is
Have you been playing the multiplayer or the single player?
multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, both are fucking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the single player when there's that level where you get to be fucking Dio.
And time travel.
Yeah, and just fucking like, okay, just pause time in one universe, go kill dudes in another universe, pop back into their universe in a different place and fucking murder a dude.
Burnout Remastered? Or
Titanfall 2.
Wait,
No,
wait, seriously?
This is Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
There's a part in the campaign where you get this an item that lets you, at the press of a button, switch between 2 time periods, and you're going through this facility before and after it's been destroyed, and like the guards in like the time before it's been destroyed are like trying to stop you, and then you just teleport to the future. Like move around to behind somewhere some other guard is, teleport back in and murder the dude. And they're just like, where the fuck? How the fuck? Enemy has some sort of advanced cloaking tech. It's fucking sick.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to play this game now.
Oh
Fuck.
man.
There's also the level where you have to like fight through the factory that's building houses around you. That one's sick.
That's building houses around you. Oh my god, that's a.
Yes. It is building like pieces of like a changeable like battle simulation like area. Like it runs mock battles in this sort of simulated environment, and it builds pieces of that simulated environment around you as you're going through the level.
Yeah.
It's fucking dope as hell.
That game has like so many little features in it, and so many like set
You mean
pieces.
actually having a campaign that it didn't have in the fucking first game?
Yeah, and like it makes sense. Like the plot points make sense. Like
Yeah, no, the single player in Titanfall 2 is godlike, and the multiplayer is fantastic too. Like there is no other first-person shooter where you can do stuff that fucking sick.
like the main thing that whenever like people think of Titanfall 2, I think of like the set piece, and it goes from set piece to set piece to set piece, and like there was a moment in that campaign where I felt generally upset that they murdered a character who, like, I feel shouldn't have been killed and stuff like that. And then you're like, oh, okay, like this is like more physically, emotionally draining than most media has on me. Like, it was generally upsetting.
That was like, well, as I told Rory, I can actually like, you know how you get upset about Titanfall, and it's about a game about a pilot inside of a giant mech. Well, I told Rory about the story about my little incident about a pilot inside of a mech, and where I was at the gym and I was trying not to cry because I'm listening to an audiobook. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, you told me about this. Alan crying at the gym because my big space robot has
It is.
feelings.
Okay, fuck off. I will give you this audiobook and you will listen to this scene and you'll be like, oh my god, this has given me things I did not expect to have.
The crying of manly tears.
Where did these onions come from? Fuck.
I've just been cooking all these onions.
Anyways, Destiny 2 is meh now.
It was meh from the
Okay.
start.
Destiny's always been meh.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was,
Don't try to defend it.
it was fun.
Destiny has always been less interesting, like Borderlands.
Not even.
basically.
It's less interesting. Anarchy or Rage.
Okay.
Rage. Sorry.
Anarchy. No, because Rage is very, very, very linear. Rage is definitely its own thing.
PUBG is also still very good.
have-
People should play that or Fortnite. And I think I kind of came up with a saying about those two games. Is like, Fortnite is the lull of gaming. PUBG is not.
yeah. Fortnite
Yeah.
is the lol of gaming, not lol.
No, Fortnite is the lull of that franchise.
I don't know how.
or that genre.
I don't know how.
Genre.
How I'd see that as the lull. Well, I know.
Battle
I
Royale
don't get
games.
how that would be the lull of. If anything.
It's free.
Well, I understand where the metaphor comes from because the two biggest like MOBAs
Dota,
are
League of Legends and Dota 2.
League and Dota, and Dota is the more
Realistic.
like gritty / realistic / jank as hell typically of the two, whereas LoL is a lot more polished, but it definitely has a more.
It's easier to
cartoony
get
art style.
into. It's
I wouldn't
not
say
as
that.
complicated. I would say that Fortnite's
No,
easier to get into.
I would say that like it's a lot easier to tell exactly what's going on just by watching that like Fortnite or say League as opposed
Dota?
to Dota or
Okay.
PUBG.
Okay, no, I can agree with
Because,
that
like,
statement.
just
Yeah, I can agree with that statement.
Simply because it's like at least in the case of the battle royale games, like Fortnite is made by like an actual like game development team, whereas PUBG is just sort of a
Pretty much.
mod. I think it's impossible to judge the two on the base on the
they play
same
play
standard. But
very similar.
between the two of them, like I feel like Fortnite is the better game.
I kind of
But that's
actually
just
sit down
me.
and I look at people playing Fortnite, and I'm like, I actually think I would play this game over PUBG because even though I like the setup and style of PUBG, Fortnite just seems like it's just more fun.
It helps that like Fortnite's a lot more polished. PUBG also just kind of looks a bit shit. It's not a pretty game.
No, it's not. And like the other thing with Fortnite is that I'm going to say this, and people are going to either agree with me or disagree with me. Is that Fortnite? It's very easy to understand like what gun is better than what. PUBG, it isn't.
It's color coded for your convenience.
Yeah, and PUBG, it isn't. And the other thing I'm going to say is that like the thing I like about PUBG is that like it's easy. It's very simple. It's the movie. It's the movie, the game. It's Battle Royale, the game. Whereas Fortnite is, oh, you can build a fort in it.
Yes, but
And it's like, okay, like
the idea of building a fort in an area that actually just shrinks as you play does not sound all that appealing when you suddenly realize, shit, this fort I just spent 20 minutes, 3 minutes building is outside the zone. I gotta fucking move.
yeah. The other thing I'm going to say is that it's fun and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that wraps that topic up. Is like we talked about Titanfall 2 and
I am
PUBG and
gonna
Destiny.
actually point out one thing about
Turns out old games, like most people have a pretty concise
I'm
opinion
gonna
on.
actually put this out about Destiny 2. I tried Destiny with my friend Vecvid, who Rory here knows as Scruff. It's not Scruff McGruff with you. It's Die Hard.
No, he's
Die
not
Hard.
Scruffy. Turns out there's
Yeah,
like
we-
a billion
we have-
fucking Brendan
we-
/ Brendan /
We have like
Brandon.
4 in our group, and we're like,
Name your kids more original things, motherfuckers.
Clearly,
but I'm gonna be like I was playing Destiny with him, and I'm just shooting up enemies. I'm like, this is a really boring game. I can't believe I spent $40 on this game. Was my thought process with Destiny, and I've gone over to somebody's place and played Destiny 2, and I'm just like,
The thing I find with Destiny 2 is that, like, it's a podcast game. You listen to a podcast, you play it, and you're like, oh, mindless enemies, do, and then you run over to the next mob, do.
But that doesn't make it a good gaming experience, though. Like,
I know, but like, if Borderlands did the same thing,
no, Borderlands is not.
If Borderlands did that same, like, well, no, let me rephrase it. If Borderlands made it so, like, I could be playing with Rory, and all of a sudden we're running around, and then another player just drives in and murders some things, that would be cool.
Hey, Rory.
Borderlands isn't going to do that.
I can't understand that sentiment having
too.
like this sort of
I'm just
the
respond.
MMO.
Hey, Rory. Remember our game playthroughs with the zip? In Borderlands, the pre-sequel, when we were playing with Stefan and me and you, and we're just like, "Okay, Zip, bring over the vehicle," and he just plows one of us over.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah, but like, gross incompetence from Zip is nothing to be surprised by anymore.
I love Zip, dude, but like. I was on the receiving end of like most of those things, and I'm like, okay, dude, stop.
Okay. Well, no. Here's the thing. One, Zip like fucks up more, in ridiculous ways more than the average person. And two, Allan, you have an abysmal reaction time.
I have a great reaction time. It's just Zip.
You have an abysmal reaction
Zip's
time
bullshit.
to like ridiculous bullshit. Okay, I understand. Like, oh man, Zip's going to go grab the car. I'm just going to be a little bit more careful than I otherwise would be, just in case something happens.
No. I can actually explain my reasoning behind why, and it's more of I have faith in my fellow players, but Zip has degraded that to the point where like I don't want to play Zip online anymore. That's how little faith I have in him now. I'm like, oh, it's a co-op game. Rory, I'm gonna play with you. I won't lie. When we started playing the game that we're gonna talk about here in a minute, Zip was like, he's like, hey, yeah,
I'm gonna jump in on this. I'm just like internally, you're just like, no.
Zip down.
Yeah. I kind of had the same moment.
I love him dearly. I really do love him dearly, but like, oh, dude.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I think it's safe to say that you guys like Borderlands. Anyways, we have to move on.
Or at least Borderlands 2. I kind of fell off at pre-sequel, but that like we're kind of getting off track.
Off topic.
You wanted
Surprise.
to say some stuff about Destiny, or
no, let's move on to a new topic.
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yes.
Why are you cleaning out your card collection?
Because
also, I love the amount of spelling mistakes you have in this, like in the subtext of this topic.
Because I just don't double check anymore. I just don't give a shit. Sack, sack.
Vari.
I mean,
very expensive.
Very. Turbjörn is the third Shimada.
So basically, I've been cleaning out my card collection because as of late,
I'm Swedish. Sorry, okay, let's go.
Swedish. I've been cleaning out my card selection because I just have a lot of bulk chuff stuff of like you'll rip open your pack of cards, you find the rare what's in there, and you kind of toss the rest of the cards over your shoulder because a lot of that is just the chuff of like you need for you put the deck together with that little commons and uncommons, but at the same time it's like you get so much of it you just chuck over your shoulder and ignore. And now like I'm just looking over my card collection. I just need to try to go through it and see if like get rid of all of the extras I have. And friggin' whenever summer comes around, I'm just gonna have a garage sale. I'm just like, fuck it.
I'm kind of there myself. I might just find a place to just sell my fucking commons and.
You won't be able to find a place
to
sell your commons. Your bulk rares, same. Like if.
Well, no, I'm just gonna sell like the entire collection as one.
Do you want this?
Like,
I just want to get rid of it. Like here, I'll like, take like $50.
Yeah, because I know I'm not gonna be able to sell like commons and uncommons unless they're like special or some shit.
You mean like lightning bolt?
No, I'd just be like
fucking goddamn it, lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Lightning bolt will sell.
Lightning bolt always sells. It is a boop.
There's always like a select few of commons and uncommons that you know that it will sell no matter what's going to happen. For my current situations, like, okay, I'm going through certain sets that I have to put cards away because on my birthday I had a whole collection of booster packs, and I just like, oh fuck it, I was planning on doing something with those booster packs. It was like, well, my plans fell through and no one wanted to do anything, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna rip open all these packs to see what I got, and I got some pretty cool shit out of it. So I'm like, cool, but now I'm like, I can't shove these in these boxes that I have, so guess I have to go through it and get rid of all the chuff and shit. And if I'm lucky enough, I could just sell the entire thing to one person at the garage sale, because that happened one time. It was actually pretty amazing.
Have a
Because
bunch
the
of
person pretty. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It was like, it was just a kid. It was a kid that was like obviously in high school. Who was like, "Hey, you're selling all these magic cards."
I'm going to take advantage of your lack of experience, small child. Here, buy this crap.
Exactly. If actually to the point of like, I was like, "Oh, there's nothing but commons and uncommons in this, but hey, just wait a couple minutes. I'll get you some cool shit." So I actually got some like, I don't know, $1 worth rares, like a fistful of them, and just gave it to the kid. And he's like, wow. And it just made his eyes blow up. So I was like, hey, I just made his day. That's fine. It was like,
I cheated this child and he was happy about it. Aren't I a great person?
That's actually not the worst thing in the world that I've heard, actually.
Enjoy your bulk rares, you fucking child.
What makes it really funny is I have a friend who works at a magic store, and she was talking about the new magic set and stuff like that recently. And like, here's my little bit of advice to you for if you're gonna keep getting cards, Josh. When you get like foil rares and stuff like that, when you get them, sleeve them and put them under something heavy.
Yeah, because of the stock as of later.
It has been horrendous, apparently. Like they are
like if you just open up a brand new pack, it's still gonna bend.
Like, apparently people have been opening packs and getting cards that are already started to bend. Like that, and this, and the thing is, somebody was like at the show at a like a con where like Wizards were selling stuff, and there was a stack of books behind this thing, and you could just see like you could tell like it was just sitting on top of some magic cards, and you're like, oh my god. Like it was like 4 or 5.
It's almost like Wizards of the Coast doesn't care about printing quality anymore. Printer quality.
Yeah.
What's print?
Yeah.
What's printing quality?
Well, print quality, not printer quality.
Oh, yeah. Paper quality. There you go. That's the best one.
Yeah, that's the word you meant to say. But anyway, it's like, yeah, like there's been rumors swirling around that what was it? Hasbro wants to sell Wizards, and there's been people have been kind of like people from the the stock and like from the stocks and shit like that. They've been noticing these trends of like what Wizards doing, and people are like just pointing out, I think they're trying to sell. Like they're trying to sell Wizards off, basically, and basically you kind of look at what they've been doing and how much they've been printing and the stuff they've been saying at like certain shows and stuff like that, of like trying to talk to investors, saying like, hey, look how much we printed, but not like how much they sold. That's the thing. Is like a lot of the stuff they're talking about. It's like, look how much we printed around the world.
Apparently, a lot of the Magic community has been getting like really sick and tired of Wizards.
Yeah.
So what's the driving force behind this? 'Cause I haven't really paid any attention to Magic.
There are a lot of driving
beyond,
forces behind this, Rory, and this is something I don't even want to sit down and talk about because it goes right into politics.
Okay.
Basically,
okay.
a lot of shit hit the fan. It was a very good fan, and a lot of shit went flying, and it was fantastic.
Here, Roy, I will give you a snippet of this fan.
Nope, you don't need to show him anything.
I'll look it up after. I'll look it up after the. I'll look it up after the podcast.
All I was gonna say is I'll tell you after the podcast. That's all I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, dude, like I'm only gonna bring up one thing, and it will make you go, okay.
The fan was great.
Freaking Jason Mind Sculptor
Yeah.
got unbanned, and they're throwing that in the new set.
What?
Yeah,
The card spiked in
Yeah.
price, by the way.
Of
Yeah,
course it
and
fucking
and
did
it's
if it
getting
got unbanned. God
reprinted.
damn.
yeah. So
It
out of
ain't what?
yeah. Yeah, so now we're like, I think
Game's
Wizards
garbage.
trying to sell.
Wizards is fucking crazy.
Fuck. Like, oh god. You know what? You know, what'd be the best like way to go out. Just like reprint, like the last set. Just reprint all the broken shit.
Reprint
Well,
Black,
this is
Black
actually
Lotus.
people have
And
been
then
hyping.
like, yeah, no, like Black Lotus is modern, is legal in modern now. Get fucked.
Black Lotus is now legal and standard because we're reprinting it.
Oh fuck! Man, that would be such like a doomsday bomb of like, oh fuck, why?
Just like reprint everything that's busted and like crazy expensive, and reprint it ad nauseum to the point where the value of the cards just hits rock.
Where
fucking
everyone
bottom.
and then sell and then be
Oh.
canceled.
Yeah, no, and then just fuck off because like whatever, you're going out, might as well go out with a bang.
That would probably be the worst thing ever.
It would be
Reprint the
this-
entire Power 9.
Oh god.
Oh
No.
greasy.
I mean, Josh would
Josh would
be
be suffering.
upset.
Well, I mean,
Or
I
he
would
would
actually
move on
have
to-
one of each card finally, but
Or he
then
would
I'd be
move
like,
on
well,
to the new games.
I
At
don't
what
have any-
point? At what point?
I've got some like pretty expensive cards.
Yeah, because
But,
you guys
like,
were nerds
nothing
and
on
played
the level
Magic all the
of-
time.
Oh,
And
by
then
the
you
way,
guys switched
yeah.
to Smash, and life was good.
by the way,
won a
Rory,
lot,
by the way, Rory,
motherfucker.
just to bring this up to you,
What?
after we left college and we went to go do our stuff, I started playing Commander at Warp.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get into the
You
Commander
need to hear
Nights.
you need to hear this topic. So I got tired of playing against nothing but blue decks at that site that did nothing but mill me, and I walked up to the counter, saw Kozilek's, I handed the person money, took the card, took some random card out of my deck and slotted them in, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's play. And they're like, you're a little too chipper.
Yeah.
I'm like, you'll find out, don't worry.
Right? Like it's just like mill this motherfucker.
I was done. I think the first time they saw it, they were like, "That's such fucking bullshit." I'm like, "No, it isn't.
No, it isn't. Fuck you. You're playing Mel.
You're playing blue-black. You were playing blue.
You deserve
were playing
to lose.
Blue. You deserve to lose." And I started to just funnel my deck towards like I need to kill the blue players, and it just started to become the problem where like people were like, "Yeah, your deck is built around killing blue players, but you're not attacking the blue player." I'm like, "There are 4 of you, motherfuckers. I have to spread the love."
Also, I've been playing. I'll play Marin, and then no one gets
Marin.
nice things.
Oh God.
Yeah, you remember my Marin deck?
Actually, what makes it even funnier is there's a deck that counters Marin now.
Oh, is there? Well, yeah. There's loads of decks that counter Marin. Anything that just kills your graveyard counters
great.
Marin.
So my deck. I have a card in there now that
Yeah.
goes, "Oh look, you're gonna go through my graveyard." No, you're not.
No, it's not going through your graveyard.
I know.
It's my graveyard.
I like. So, Josh, how's it being a useless sack of shit?
Well,
He already
sack of
talked
shit.
about being
Okay.
a useless
that
sack
was
of
the
shit.
magic
That was the magic topic.
Dumb fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Speaking of magic and
attention.
stuff like that, how's Vermintide?
Vermintide is
Ugh.
pretty good. I know I'm a little late on the bandwagon, but I'm getting into it now because Vermintide 2 is coming out. I've been playing with Allan as well as some of the other guys on the usual TeamSpeak I hang out with.
Because you're
And,
you leave us to die.
It was no. Okay. Well, here's the thing. If you two pick it up, we could probably just run a group of 4 at one point.
Yeah, like we aren't playing it consistently
Like we've played it
at all.
once this week, and that's
but,
it.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's not something we're doing consistently, and we typically don't have a full group when we
We've
do
tried
it.
to get a full
So
group,
whatever.
but zip.
I will say, like I do like the. Yeah, we've already shot on
No, I'm
Zip
gonna
enough this
stop. I'm
podcast.
sorry.
Leave him alone.
No, I'm not.
You guys would just
So,
drop a trouble child off a ledge. Punch the autistic
Jesus
kid
Christ,
off
okay,
a
so
bridge.
basically-
Describes like 95%
Vermintide-
of the scave in the game.
So Vermintide is basically Left 4 Dead in that it's like you and a group of friends against like a horde of enemies, and there's a couple of like special types.
A couple.
And like they pretty directly correlate to Left 4 Dead, like special zombies. And it's basically it's Left 4 Dead, except instead of everyone just sort of being the same template, every character is unique in their own way, and they can only equip certain gear and stuff, which is a bit different. And I'm actually having a lot of fun because I play the Bright Wizard. And yes, that is a solid segue into one of Jeff's topics, but we'll get there later.
Yeah, we missed it, but
which is the Fire Wizard, and.
I know. I'm excited to talk about this topic because I did something fucking retarded. And...
Fuck off. I've been playing a bunch of the Bright Wizard, which is the chick who just throws fire basically everywhere. But basically, but the core mechanic of that class is that you have a heat meter, and the more like magic you shoot, the more your heat meter builds up, and if it builds up too high, you just explode and die.
Oh, great.
So so basically you have unlimited ammo, which is basically better than everyone else because they have very limited ammo, especially with the classes that shoot faster.
Looking at you, Inquisitor.
But the drawback is that the Inquisitor runs out of ammo real fast. But the drawback is that if you spam it too much, you're just going to die.
So how do you cool
you
off,
can't
Rory?
vent heat by... you vent it by hitting the reload key, which causes you to take some damage.
No, I'm...
You were setting me up for a segue there, but I shut it down.
We were playing the first time, and Jake, the guy who owned the game, who has started playing on he plays on regularly on hard, and what makes it really fun, and we're just they're fighting for their lives behind the line. I chase off because I see a group of 8 elite enemies that are called storm vermins, which are armored warriors.
They're the bigger, beefier,
and I see them go by,
guys,
and Jake goes, "Don't go near them, don't trigger them," because I've seen parties just get wiped by them. And I see them go by, I cut down a Skaven, and I just follow them. And as I'm walking up behind them, I pull out an explosive and I light it. I just see where they're going, and I toss it, blows them up. And Jake's like, "Allan, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Don't worry, I got this." And all they come at me, and Jake's like, "What the fuck?" As he just sees Athlon killed Stormvermin times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7 times 8. He's like, "I've seen entire parties get wiped because of those things." What the fuck, dude? I'm like,
so for a little bit of context, what Alan's talking about, because he was a bit excited there, was there are patrols in that game of basically 8 storm vermin, which are basically bigger, tougher rats that you can only damage by hitting them in the head. And they have patrols where they just walk around singing basically, and you're supposed to avoid them, but this dumb motherfucker decided to just immediately aggro the first one he found.
I have aggroed everyone that I found, actually.
You haven't aggroed everyone you've found, because a bunch of them I just killed before they got to do anything.
The ones that I haven't had a chance to aggro.
Because fireballs are really good at dealing with tightly clustered enemies.
Who would have known?
Who would have thought?
Oh, who would have thought? Yeah.
Anyways, I just bought Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh god,
that is a pretty good game.
Actually, a very good game from what I've heard too. Actually, and again, a solid life choice in my opinion. Actually, because it's apparently really accurate for the most part. But
it's funny because the only reason why I bought it was because of a friend recommending it. And he's like, "It's better than Skyrim." Yeah, and I was like, "Okay."
You wouldn't want to compare. You don't compare the two. No, it's okay. So basically, if you're just a big history, my historical accuracy wanker type motherfucker, Allan.
So
yes,
Allan.
Exactly Allan. This is the game for you.
It's on my wish list,
because it is exactly that. You start out as a piece of shit blacksmith's son, peasant child, and you will get your ass beat if you try to fight somebody. Because you're a fucking peasant.
It uses the same kind of defense mechanic that For Honor has. It's done better because instead of it being For Honor has 3 directions you can name.
3.
5.
This has 5, but it's a very different system. It looks similar, but it's actually quite a bit different.
Okay.
Because For Honor is supposed to be some more arcadey / fighting gamey. This is supposed to be
RPG.
sort of a RPG, like more of a simulation, kind of, but not really. It's still a game first and foremost. So I'm not going to call it a.
I would lean it
game,
towards
but-
historical RPG. That would work.
Yep.
Okay, look forward to Jeff being very disappointed with it and just giving up playing more Painkiller.
Or you could play that game, and then when your family dies, you just go bang hookers instead
Yep.
of like doing anything.
That's an option.
Yep.
This sounds like
You
the
can just
greatest game ever made.
You can just go
You're
bang
like, I
horse.
am done with the world. I'm gonna go.
And they're just and they're just like medieval like peasant ladies,
Anyways,
and you get a
You
buff
get a
for it.
bu-
Anyways.
I guess that I.
we
Okay.
we have to talk about the remasters that are coming
There are
out.
two.
Starting with Burnout. Burnout Remastered is coming out. I'm excited. I like Burnout. Burnout was fun.
Is it Burnout 3 remastered, or is it like just?
No, Paradise.
Oh right. I kind of prefer 3.
Here's the thing.
How long? How?
Is Revenge is the best one. Revenge is pinnacle Burnout.
Yeah.
Paradise takes
Yeah.
it back to 3, and then what it does is it makes it an open sandbox.
I still think the main design of that game shouldn't be open sandbox, but I don't know. I'm a crazy dude.
Yeah, like you like tracks and stuff like that. I personally think that this game is the progressions there and everything like that. It seems like something that EA put out in like 15 minutes, but it's like something that like, hey, if they make a good version of Burnout and we can play it, that seems like a good thing for us. Especially if they don't fuck with it massively.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, have you not heard of the shitstorm afterwards of someone? I'm not sure if this is true or not. Supposed to have microtransactions.
I'm not surprised.
What a
Yeah.
shock!
Surprise!
Yeah, it's like,
EA
I'm not
wants to do
sure if it's like-
microtransactions in a game.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, I'm not sure if it's a slip in the mouth, a guy like saying, "Oh yeah, we'll have microtransactions," but even though it doesn't have microtransactions, or it's just,
Or if they're just, or
it's
if they're,
like,
or if
you know,
they're
he's not
taking
supposed
the
to let it
fucking
out.
piss.
I think
Yeah, or that, or something like that. So, but that's been going around. It's like,
You guys.
oh boy, they haven't learned their lesson at all, have they?
No, not as long as they keep functioning.
If they have taken
Yeah.
the piss and they are making that as a joke, I applaud them because now they've learned. If not, I'm going to be very upset with EA. Mind you, I don't buy EA games after Battlefield 1 because as much as I enjoy that game, I was hoping for something else.
but you will buy Titanfall 2, right?
Well, Titanfall 2 I'm probably going to go pick up tomorrow.
Man, like, okay, so Titanfall 2 is great,
It's
but like the reason that thing died is because EA was a bag of dicks.
yeah. Yeah,
Like, they
threw
didn't
it
even
under
fuck
the
it up with. Yeah, they threw it
Under the
under
bus.
like they threw it under the bus so fucking hard that they killed it by making it compete with one of their
Battlefield
own
1.
games.
And
and it was a better game than Battlefield 1.
I agree. I will agree with that statement
Agreed.
because again,
Like-
I
Titanfall 2 should have been the game that every kid wanted.
Well, no, okay. So the reason they released both of those within like 2 weeks of each other was because they were trying to take like a bite out of like COD's market share.
they were aggressive that
So
year.
like, not only does Titanfall 2 have, which is like a weaker like IP because like not as many people like know
It's a-
it
it's
or
a
like,
newer
are
one.
that into it. It's also a lot newer, yeah.
But it's better.
It has not only does it have to compete with fucking COD, which is the biggest. It also has to compete with the second biggest, which is made by the same
which makes
fucking
no
company.
It doesn't-
fucking sense.
It makes no sense.
well, no. If
Well, okay.
if EA was smart, what they would have done is they would have put it in its own separate month.
Yes, but they
Yep.
didn't.
And what they
But they
did
didn't-
was
they-
they put it,
they're-
I believe, late October.
Yep, they released it they released 2 weeks before Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was released, I think 2 weeks before that. It got slotted into a spot where it should not have been.
No, it should have been released early
and I've
September.
played both Battlefield 1 and Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare, I like the idea behind what it was they were trying to do, where it's like, yeah, no, we're in this solar system now, we're going to do a gameplay around this. It's a cool idea. And I'm like, okay, fine, sure, let's go with that. And I like the idea, but I'm like,
But the campaign
was
here's
just
the thing, Alan.
boring.
Campaign's the selling
Yeah,
point.
no, that's the thing is like the campaign idea is this really cool idea. It's fucking shittily execute. I look at Battlefield 1 and I'm like, I'm a historical nut. I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. Why are we using machine guns? What?
Yeah.
This is not what? And I heard the response for EA because they're like, well, yeah, you're supposed to make engaging warfare. We're supposed to make engaging games. I'm like, you could have done that with so many different ways, like stealth missions, sneaking into the enemy trench.
Yeah, but those ways don't sell as well.
If you look at Call of Duty's history, yes, they do. Yes.
The old COD games?
World War II.
Yeah, those games sold well. Do you know how much they sold compared
Way
to the
better.
newer ones?
0.
Well,
No,
Worse.
not at all. Okay, so the whole machine guns appeal to a very broad audience, specifically the audience that buys these games
I know,
over
but-
and over again. Like, you can't change that formula because then those dudes won't buy it, and then the company doesn't make
I know.
tons
That's the
of
thing
money.
is like I would have like if Call of Duty actually turned around and did World War One game, which is still a god. Like, why haven't you done this game? Because that would because I know for a fact I know for a feeling that Call of Duty would actually do.
That would not sell.
No, it would.
If they did it historically accurate, it would not
Yes,
sell.
it would.
Yeah, no. Oh,
Yes,
God,
it
no.
would.
No, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
No, it wouldn't.
Hold on, let me reload
Trench
this musket for
rotates.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's not that bad.
No.
But no, no, it wouldn't.
Trench warfare
Because
is
trench
engaging, but it's
warfare
not
is-
that engaging.
Is really engaging for people who are really
No,
into
okay.
that style of game. But for your typical dude bro COD guy, that's not what they want.
Alan, if we're
at all.
making
And that is the majority
Well,
of their
now it
market
is.
share.
And that's the problem is like I can't.
It's been that way for 10
I would
years.
say it's been like that for the past 7 years at most. Like since 2010,
No.
I'd say from
No.
2010 onwards.
when did Call of Duty Call of Duty 4 get released?
Call of Duty 4?
That's when it started.
Call of Duty 4.
That's
That's
yeah,
exactly
that's
when it
that's-
started.
That is when it started.
I think that was 2006 or 7? So 10 years, yeah.
2007.
I would.
So
I,
11
I know
years.
that. I know that's actually their most selling and most popular game, for a fact.
Yeah.
Because they
I would say that Call of Duty is probably going to be, if they did a World War One game, it would probably not be the game what you expected.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Because it would
frustrated
be-
because they don't.
There's a game that you would want, and I'm going to try and
Don't
find
say
it.
Verdun. I don't like Verdun.
Okay,
I
yeah,
have
it was
played
Verdun.
Verdun is realism to an extreme that I'm like, yo, what the fuck? It's nothing but multiplayer, and that's the reason why it's like World War One for like a campaign setting. You don't have like for online. You go, yeah, no, this is how the multiplayer works. Go fucking nuts. But if you're gonna do like World War One, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna be historically accurate, it's like, then be like that, please. But hey, what do I know? I'm just.
I mean, you know a little bit.
I know I know a lot.
I can't confirm.
I
Alan knows.
I know a
little
lot
bit.
about World War. I know a lot about World War One, and there were not that many red planes for the
Fucking
Germans. There was.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm getting off topic.
Anyways,
All right.
Burnout
So that was
Remastered.
Vermintide.
Well, Burnout Remastered is coming out. If it has microtransactions in it, I could see it being microtransactions of buying
Well, I
cars
found-
and stuff like that.
I did find an article saying that it was a error on the Steam page that's saying that it's going to have it, but then it turns out no, it's not going to have
We swear.
microtransactions.
Please.
Trust us. We
We're
swear.
sorry.
Okay.
Please
We're
buy
sorry.
it. Oh God.
We don't.
Why are they slowly turning into scratchy voice teen?
Oh God, Rick!
Rick.
Oh God.
Because we're losing
That
all
was-
of
that
our
was-
faith
that
in
was
customers.
incredibly
Oh
funny, dude.
shit.
Oh
Yeah,
jeez,
well,
Rick.
whatever.
Oh jeez.
Oh geez. So
Stop.
I was gonna say if this remake gets really successful, I hope to God they do an SSX remake, like all of them, like all the
SSX
three on the PS2. That's all I want. That would be so
I
great.
like how
Yeah.
like this is Jeff's Spyro remake.
Oh man, I did not expect us to talk about
Fuck off.
Spyro
I don't
on this
care
podcast.
I'm actually a little excited about that
No,
because
I had Mario, man.
the reason actually
I had Mario. Fuck Spyro. Spyro's a bitch.
Spyro was fun.
No, Mario's
Fuck
the
you.
best.
That is debatable because he has a twin brother who's just generally better.
Yeah, except
He
he's
is
not.
though. He puts.
Luigi's a fucking beta male bitch boy. Fucking come at me.
I will.
I will. It drops the headset onto the ground here and stomp out to the
All
door.
you hear just tiger squealing. Yeah.
Right, like, shit.
Anyways,
I'm not worried. It's fucking Allan.
anyways. So Burnout came out. Dark Souls is coming out soon too. So
Yes. Okay. Okay. So
Well,
It's the
will
Dark
that
Soul-
fix a
it's
lot
the
of
Dark
problems
Souls
that
of
that
Dark
first
Souls.
one-
it will make the
hope
game
so.
good.
It's already good. Oh right. Yeah, you're the uncultured swine who doesn't like Dark Souls. I forgot, Jeff.
I'm joking.
No, but
I'm
I was
joking.
gonna say,
Are you though?
hold
Have
on.
you paid your royalties to Giant Bomb for that opinion?
No.
Have you?
No.
Have you, Jeff?
Apparently, I own Vermintide already.
That's not surprising. It was kind of popular when it came out, but not a lot of
I'm
people
gonna
played
install
it too
it.
much.
I
The
didn't.
problem with Vermintide that when it got released was, the parent company of that owns Warhammer Fantasy wasn't pushing Warhammer Fantasy at the time of a release. Literally the week, like 2 weeks after that game was released, I do believe, Age of Sigmar happened. Warhammer Fantasy ceased to exist, and I was like,
Yep.
yeah, and yes,
Yeah, 'cause it's the
yes.
end.
By
Rats
the way,
win.
yes, I am still fucking salty about the fucking end. Fucking, oh.
Rats win. Rats win. Deal
I'm
with it.
okay with the Rats
Anyway,
winning, though.
So yeah. Well, they did. Suck it.
Well, that's the reason why I'm saying I'm okay with it. You. Anyways,
Anyway.
So I was gonna say
uh,
with the remake of Dark Souls, the original.
I am excited. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I am the Dark Souls guy on this podcast right now. I know Jeff just
wasn't
not huge
there-
into it. Alan's just
I'm
getting into it.
sitting
and
down and
I don't
I-
know.
I won't lie. Like
No, because
I looked at it. I'm like I understand why Rory's hyped about it because the guy who makes Dark Souls takes a lot of. I've actually found this out that like he takes a lot of inspiration from just Berserk, which is
Berserk.
Berserk?
which
Oh,
is like
yeah. No,
Rory's
like, you
crack.
don't
Like, you know, like,
understand.
I swear, what?
Miyazaki fucking
I swear
loves
to
Berserk.
God, one
Like,
of
I
these
swear
days,
to God,
I'm going to
he
come
could
over
just
to
take
Rory's
out,
place
like-
and I'm going to open the door and I'm going to see him with like a rubber band against his arm and I'm going to see with a syringe that just reads Berserk on the side. He's going to look at me.
It's like Amiibos for Josh. Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Except instead of constantly coming out, he uploads like once a month and then just plays like Idolmaster and StarCraft otherwise. Because Kentaro Miura is like, I don't know how to end Berserk, so I'm just not going to write it anymore. And I'm like, why?
Can we briefly talk about this? I don't hate Dark Souls. I like Bloodborne more.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, like I
That's
understand.
fine.
Like the problem that I have with Dark Souls is like when Dark Souls is medieval, and I like high Gothic stuff.
That
more.
hold up,
Yeah,
then you are
then you're
missing
gonna-
out.
Okay. There's a
I
lot
hate
of
to-
high Gothic
I
stuff in
hate to
Dark
bring
Souls
it
as
to you,
well.
but like, well, Bloodborne is high Gothic Cthulhu horror.
Yeah,
to
it-
the extreme, yeah.
The statement of high Gothic, that's 40K, which 40K just drives straight off of fucking like medieval like structures and stuff like that. That's the reason why it's called high Gothic, grimdark, Cthulhu fantasy universe. There are so many labels I could put there for that. I'm just going to refer to the universe.
he's gonna come and kill me.
I will say from like a style perspective, Bloodborne nails it like super fucking hard. But that's because it's like a one-off, and like Dark Souls nails its as well. But it's a lot more of a generic concept with the whole knights thing. Like we've been playing like fantasy RPGs forever.
Yeah,
There haven't been too many fucking Cthulhu
their knights
RPGs,
actually look
right?
really nice though. I will say this
Honestly, from a mechanics perspective, if you like Bloodborne, play Dark Souls 3. You'll probably like it.
That's kind of
just as
what
much.
like everyone I talk to says is like you should play Dark
got
Souls.
a
3.
much more it's got a much more aggressive playstyle, and a lot of that was inspired
success
by
of
like
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne.
Yeah. And that's the thing I think that like I like more about like that's the thing that I think trips me up about Dark Souls is like, oh, you're going to do this, I better hold my shield up all the time. Whereas like Bloodborne's like, no, you fucking attack me, boom, you're fucking out of your animation, whip, move on.
I'll be honest, once you've... Okay, so, like, playing behind a shield is, like, the safe way to do it, especially on your first run-through. But after... Like, honestly, I almost never... Like, even back to Dark Souls 1, I almost never use shields. I'm using one a bit more in this run than I'm currently running through with Allan, which, by the way, it's before I get off topic again. I finally got Allan to fucking play Dark Souls.
On the
We're going
topic
through
of the shield
first
thing,
one.
I started off with a shield, and then I got the claymore, and I'm like, let's go, bitch.
It turns out, like, two-handing a big weapon is a really good way to deal with a lot of
Rory's
your
salty about
problems.
some things with me. and Rory also...
Oh, yeah, Allan's
Rory,
a piece of shit who's, like, insanely lucky and has gotten both of the Black Knight drops.
And what
that he
makes it
killed
even
so far.
funnier is Rory understands one of the experiences that I went through where I got nudged just a bit and I fell off and I died. I got nudged ever so gently.
You'll die more to gravity in Dark Souls 1 than any other game.
But here's the thing, though, is like Rory was like, okay, Rory was just like, okay, I'm done for the night. I'm just gonna grind for a little while before I go grab those souls, and I'm just getting some firebomb guys, and one just gently touches me from behind, and I just stumble forward, and I'm off the edge, and I'm like, I stopped. I was like, okay, I'm done for the night. And he's like, why? It's like, I just lost 3,000 souls. And he's like, well, can't you just go get them? No, like, no, I died before I got there. Oh, and I died for a very stupid reason. I'm going to stop for tonight because I'm angry.
That's the thing about Dark Souls is that you will experience setbacks, but you'll bounce back from them. Like 3,000 souls is going to be nothing to you.
Yeah,
like
and it's not like I'm not interested in going back and playing Dark Souls and stuff like that. It's just that like when I was playing Dark Souls, I put it on a shelf
and it just never picked up,
and just never came back to it. And when I was ready to go back to it,
Blood Bowls,
they had updated the game and made it unplayable.
Wait, like Dark Souls 1?
Dark Souls 1 on PC. I couldn't play it.
On PC? Maybe go back to it now. It might work again, especially since I think you've got like a new computer now.
No, the problem is that like they made it so that like Windows Live was the service.
No, they fixed that.
No. Okay, they fixed it? No, when Windows Live went down, they put it on the Steam servers.
It's
way
way better.
It actually, like, you could actually connect to your friends within 15 minutes.
Me and Rory, when Rory was first helping me deal with the first big boss after the asylum demon, I'm just like, okay, and Rory's like, yeah, I'll just come help you. So me and him basically like power through that demon. I fuck up my first time with Rory there, and I'm just like, fuck a duck, because I like Rory was like, just don't bother going back up the ladder once you drop down on him. After I started going up the ladder, and I get smacked off the ladder, and I died. I'm like, well, okay. And then the 3,000 soul thing happened. That was my breaking point for that night. And then we went. Then the next time we got we were having trouble connecting, and then we finally got his put his sign down, and he's like, yep, we're gonna go do this right now. And I picked him up, and we went in, and we just boom, we're like done. I'm like, huh.
Sometimes the boss fights go really well. Helps when you have a plus
5 weapon. And then so then I run forward. I meet with Solar, and he's just like, yeah, okay. Here, Allan, put down your sign. And within 3 seconds of me putting it down, he picked it up, and I'm like, I'm being summoned, and I'm like, sup, babe.
Once you've actually got the player in your pool, because it still works on sort of like the old Dark Souls 1 netcode, where like players will only be like within certain pools. Once you like see someone sign, they're in your pool and they become like infinitely easier to summon after that.
Yep.
It's jank, but it used to be more jank. Like I cannot tell you how fucking ridiculous it used to be when you were playing with.
I still want to see Stefan try to beat this game.
Okay,
I really do want to see him beat it now.
He beat most of it, but then it stopped working on his computer. This is why I'm excited for the remaster, because the remaster is like going to work on PC, hopefully. That's what I've been hearing. And like, okay, so Dark Souls 1 out of all the Souls games is my favorite. It's the first one I played, and it's the one with
the first one I played. I certainly hope so.
It's Demon Souls came out before that, but I went back to play that later.
I hear Demon Souls is really good.
Like, Demon Souls is also very good. They're all the games are good to a certain degree. I think Dark Souls 2 is the weakest by far, but that's really neither here nor there. I'm really looking forward to the remaster because like just the way Dark Souls 1 handles is so like nostalgic to me. Like I feel in my bones like the frame data of that game, right? I played so much.
I think my favorite thing of my first time being summoned by Rory was the quote I heard when we were going onto a bridge where there's supposed to be a dragon, and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna run to this point here," and he just like starts running out, and he's like, "Where's the dragon?" like what the fuck? The game broke on him or something like that. He was just like he was offended by it. Like that's what he sounded like. Like, I feel offended by this. Where the fuck are you?
How dare you not be here?
Yeah. But okay. So there's one thought I want to get out on the remaster because we were sort of getting sidetracked and going back and forth between Allan's and my playthrough. I want the remaster to be faithful to the original, but there's a lot of parts later in the game, specifically like, and anyone who knows has played the game will understand when I talk about Izalith. Like there are parts of that game that are blatantly unfinished. And like if From Software was to like update that in the remaster and actually finish it, I would be so happy.
Are they going?
Like don't take out the bullshit. Don't take out the bullshit. Leave Bed of Chaos as the broken fucking horrible mess it is, because that's part of the experience. But like
fix the dumb bullshit.
Fix Lost Eyes. Yeah, fix Lost Eyes list so it's not just a fucking like lava pool with a bunch of like dead dragon butts mouse dropped periodically around the fucking place.
What's in
like,
there?
There's some stuff I'd like to see updated.
All I'm hearing is stuff I don't understand, and I'm just going to nod my head and go. Mm-hmm.
One day you will. One day you'll cave. You'll play Dark Souls.
I'm probably going to play it sooner than later, bud.
Yeah. Play the remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was going to say, I have seen a Let's Play of the entire game, and it does look neat, and I've seen the part you're talking about of being like mouse dropped. Mouse drop creatures all over the place.
You watched the Best Friends playthrough, didn't you?
Yeah, but there was a problem. Yeah, but there was a problem with
that broke me, by the way.
Was it weapons removing? No, you're hitting an enemy that died, and your weapons degraded because you're hitting the enemy. Like something
that's Dark Souls 2. Okay, so basically durability has never mattered in a Dark Souls game except for 2, where your weapons break way easier. So basically the way it works is in Dark Souls 1, you do have to repair your weapons periodically, but like they'll almost never break on their own, and it'll give you very clear like warnings when it's about to.
Right.
Dark Souls 2 changed it so that like weapons break down way faster. But the problem with that was they tied the durability, like the damage you deal to with a swing, to the frame rate. So on the PC, where the frame rate was twice as high, you'd be damaging your weapon twice as much every single swing, which meaning it was almost impossible to get through areas with only one weapon because they would break by just killing all the enemies on the way. It was fucking awful. I'll be honest. It's one of the initial things that really turned me off to Dark Souls 2.
Which I get a feeling that I might be going through here with Rory eventually.
I don't know. I don't think so. Honestly, if there's anyone that I'd say we can probably just skip, it's DS2. Either way, there are like Souls games that I'd rather play.
One.
But yeah. 1, 3, Demons, Bloodborne, all of them really.
and Bloodborne.
Bloodborne's. I think I'm not sure if Bloodborne's pretty up there on my on where I'd rank them. I really like Bloodborne a lot.
He just prefers.
Dark Souls 1 is just the one that's closest to my heart.
That's like me with things like Space Marine and Dawn of War and games like that for me, like strategy games. Like everybody has that one game that we go to where and we hold it up above our heads, and when we see something to destroy it, we feel deep within our. Oh fucking goddamn it! I hate you. Go eat a dick.
Aggressive.
Mind control the universe. No.
Except that would actually probably be a good thing for them.
How long is this gift? Okay, there it is. That's a good gift.
Here's the thing. I actually wouldn't be all that upset about like Disney taking fucking DC because Disney would actually know what to do with it. Disney would actually give it a.
I would.
Disney would actually give it a proper universe.
I would. I would be very upset.
It would just make me very upset that they just control so much media at this point that they can just keep.
I agree with
it's a monopoly.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. I feel like with the debacle of the last Star Wars movie, Disney is like looking at their assets. They're going, maybe we're too big.
I think
maybe.
I don't think a company ever goes, maybe we're too big.
No, I think they're like, what thing can we acquire next?
Feed me more IPs. Yeah,
Disney,
I get what you're
Disney's
talking
starting to be
about.
less of like a production studio, is more like just a producer now, I think.
Honestly, I wouldn't be okay. So if Disney like ended up taking over DC, that'd probably be fine. Because like where DC is really weak right now is its movies, and Disney would probably prop those up.
No, okay, actually no. I will say this: DC is weak in its live action movies. I will.
Yeah, okay, that's fair, but that's the part that they bring up because that's the moneymaker.
You look at anything else.
Like they acquired Marvel, and Marvel movies are still good. Like for the most part, like they're like there's nothing special, but there's nothing wrong with them either. Then again, you could make the opposite argument for Star Wars, but that's neither here nor there.
Star Wars was good, fairly good. What the fuck?
It was a 6 out of 10.
It's not even a 6 out of 10 anymore. Not for me anymore.
6 out of 10. But...
I was hurt. I've been hurt deeply.
Yeah. All right. What's the next topic?
I don't
Covered both.
Bright.
I think it's Bright or Rusty Rails.
Let's talk about Rusty Rail and MoonHunter.
Yes.
What the fuck are those?
2 indie games that I play.
That does not.
Because a friend of mine because I've been hanging out with a friend of mine who has I think I've said this before, but I'll just say it again. He's like really bad lung cancer type of thing going on, and he just can't work anymore.
I feel real bad now.
So he's just yeah.
I
so
can't make a
basically,
joke about this guy.
It's like you probably could. I mean, he's pretty lax guy. But it's MoonHunters, yes. So MoonHunters is a multiplayer, random generated, dungeon crawl type of thing.
It's a multiplayer roguelike.
Not really. Yes. Like every other multiplayer roguelike.
It's got a pretty cool art style. Yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah, it looks all right. It's pretty good. I like it because each player has their own different abilities, and you can unlock separate, more of them as you play the game. And also, there's a whole bunch of different little different mechanics each time you play each time you complete an area, and you can do different things. There's a lot of story development too.
I'm getting a real Dungeons of the Endless vibe from the art style.
It's pretty similar, like for art wise, but I would say that the sprites are a lot smaller. They're not elongated like they were in that.
I'm actually gonna look at the studio. Kit Fox Games. Nope.
Yeah, so
it looks pretty good.
Oh god.
Yeah, so the thing I could describe what makes this different from other roguelikes is at the end of every time you finish a dungeon, you would get to a campsite, and the campsite would have different options of what you want to level up on your character, and there's like 6 different things you can level up. So there's your charm, there's your strength, there's your intelligence, there's your wisdom, that's different from your intelligence. There's your magic defense and strength, and there's a whole bunch of different options you can choose from. There's hunting, you can look at the stars, you can go to bed, that would increase your strength and charm, and you can make something, make some meals for you and the party, which can actually be super beneficial depending on how many items of cooking you have unlocked. And then basically out of those things you chose, you get more story options or different things you could choose from to level up your character even more. And so yeah, I've been playing this with a buddy of mine just for the past couple of times, and I just really digging the game because it's probably not too different from other roguelikes, but it's just different enough where I'm like, I can dig this. This is pretty fun. You feel powerful enough with your character, and it doesn't like completely feel like you're breaking it. And another thing with the game is each character is completely different from one another. So you can be like, okay, I'm going to be this fire guy who does really good AoEs, or no, fuck that, I'm going to be this dude who does a bunch of ice attacks. But the thing is, his ice attacks just drains his health, like drains his stamina meter, like to no end. But if you team up with the special bard, it actually buffs the shit out of everyone. So you can be like, oh, I have endless stamina, but the bard has to worry about for trying to not die.
By the way, before it actually does look really cool.
Yeah.
I have a question about your second game. Is it Rusty Rails or is it Rusty Trails?
On Rusty Rails.
No,
I should put
that is on
quotes,
Rusty
actually.
Trails. Yes,
Is it
I'm looking at it
Trails?
right
Let's
now
type that.
on Rusty Trails by Black Pants Studio. Because I went online, I went onto Steam and I'm like Rusty Rails, and nothing came up. I was like, okay, well, I'll go look up Moon Dancers. Then I went on to Google. I'm like, well, I'm gonna find this other game because I'm pretty sure Josh isn't fucking crazy. But I'm gonna confirm this suspicion first.
So what's Rusty Trails about?
So on Rusty Trails is made by the company that also did was it Grandpa's Leftovers? What was I gotta find the subtext
Black
title of
Pants
that game.
Studios also did Tiny and Big, Grandpa's Leftovers, and About Love, Hate, and the other one.
Yeah, and so they're different enough where I'm like, yes, let's go for it. What's so different about this? Tell me. It looks so much different than fucking AAA titles right now. Yeah, and basically with Rusty Trails, I gotta make sure I say that name right. It's basically a side-scrolling platformer.
Fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it, Rory! That just sounds like you just stepped on a nail. You're like, fuck! It's Rusty. God damn it!
Shit! Oh, I gotta go to the doctor and get a shot now. Fuck!
My leg! I'm dying of tetanus now. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So basically, the funny thing is though, the setting is that you're a little robot dude who got his house destroyed. And then you're basically just trying to get a new house by returning your paper or pamphlet or, I don't know, coupon of getting a free house again. You like to rebuild your house, but you have to go all the way back to the main city. And basically, the concept of this is the side-scrolling platformer, but it's your character can stick onto walls, and you can
sounding a lot like Meat Boy.
Not like a wall. Well, the thing is, it's not wall running. It's not like it's not the wall jumping you expect. It's more of like you're magnetized to the wall. So you're just walking up. Yeah, you're walking upside the wall, upside down on the roofs of the.
When you said you stick to wall, I'm like, Super Meat Boy.
No, it's not that sticking. No. But the game does change later on where you turn into a one of the so the game does try to give you some info on the story as you're playing through the levels, and it turns out there's these other creatures in that level. I don't think they give it a name, but you can like kind of give these creatures a name. So I've been like calling them rain monsters, and the rain monsters they're more organic, and they're not these machines that you're the main character of. Because they're organic, they can go through water. You're a robot and you can't. And later on in the game, you get a special suit that turns you into the water monsters. So you put on the suit, you could jump through the water, no problem. But as you go further into the levels, when you transform into the monster, the levels platforming disappears from under you because you're not the machine guys. And that's another concept the game is like slowly teaching you, is like you have to do these transfers on the fly. So you're going from jumping from your metal platform through the air, turn into a monster that you can go through the water, turn back into metal guys who keep going on to your platforming kind of platforming exercises of like trying not to fuck yourself over. So it's it's a definite like Super Meat Boy difficulty of like keep trying to figure get your timing on the transforming and not fuck yourself over, of like getting onto these platforms and keep advancing. Yeah, and the art style is very similar to the rest of the games from Black Pants Studios. So it's like that same kind of like it's indie, cell shaded, little weird looking, but hey, you can get into it. And so it's so basically, I got to what was it like World 3 or something, and there's like 14 worlds, 12 or 10, 7. I can't remember now, but there's a bunch of worlds, a bunch of platforming you have to do, and I'm gonna try to slowly plow through it. It's gonna take some time because there is a definite achievement for. There's these special crystals you have to collect on each of the levels, and when you collect a crystal, you can deposit it into a machine that you get your respawn. You go back to that point. But of course, this is a hardcore platforming game, so if you collect these crystals, but you can jump over these respawn points, and you can keep going and try to keep all these fucking crystals to yourself. So I'm like, oh god, now I have to do that too. Oh no.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering why the hell we're having this conversation.
Because this game's good.
This sounds like a 2D platformer, generic 2D platformer with responding elements and everything like that.
Because I like 2D
you sound like a broken
platformers.
child, bud.
Yeah, like. What's wrong? Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with 2D platformers.
I know.
And like,
I know.
Yeah.
So how does it feel, Josh?
Jeff, no, hold on, no, stop,
Hold on.
Jeff. Fuck you.
Thank you.
You do not get to complain about us talking about fucking video games on this podcast instead of dicks
No,
or whatever
stop.
the fuck
You said
else
the
we
magic
usually
word.
talk about.
Cease and desist.
What?
God damn it.
Dicks? Does someone talk about dicks?
You asked for this.
You brought this
Jeff.
upon yourself.
Suffer like
Let's. You talked a lot about the aesthetic. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
gameplay. How is the gameplay?
Gameplay is pretty good. I've been kind of giving myself a really hardcore difficulty curve because I've been trying to collect all the crystals without using respawn points, and it's
Hard.
pretty hard. Yeah, like I should probably just continue with all of the levels without doing that. It would be a lot easier, and I'll probably get a little bit farther into the game. Probably a lot farther into the game. And as for platforming and as for like going through the levels, it's actually pretty competent, and I think they do a pretty decent job of like going through the levels, teaching you like, hey, you have to transform at these points, and hey, if you don't do this, you will die, type of thing. And I just like the aesthetic of I like the aesthetic and just general platforming games in general. So it's barking up my alley.
It's barking up your alley.
Totally barking up my alley.
All right, Red. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right, we gonna talk about
Yes.
Bright now.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
seeing Bright.
I have seen Bright.
seen
Yes,
Bright.
Bright is a movie with Will Smith
Bright's
in
a
it, and I'm
movie.
happy it's getting a sequel. Holy shit, dude!
Is it getting a sequel?
Yes, they've confirmed it.
It
It's
is.
getting a sequel. Woo, it's worth it.
Oh, that movie.
Okay, so no holds barred discussion. It's mediocre. There's a few problems with it.
Yeah, like I'm not like I
good.
love hate this movie.
It's a really good movie.
like I really want to like this movie because it's Shadowrun. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's discount Shadowrun.
It's Shadowrun. It's
You do-
2007 Shadowrun.
I will counter that statement because Rory, if you do realize if they got the license to do Shadowrun, this game would be fucking bullshit. That movie would be fucking bullshit. And you know it.
Dude, like I would love if this was just a licensed Shadowrun movie.
Well,
it'd be
because that's the
better.
thing is Shadowrun is cyberpunk magic. Yeah, cyberpunk with magic.
magic.
This is
Yeah.
modern day. This is
Cyberpunk fantasy.
This is modern day magic, but actually like done really
but
well
like
for fucking once instead
Yeah.
of like Twilight.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. No. See, what the genre you're looking for is urban fantasy there, and like technically
Twilight is
Twilight's
actually
in
100% in there.
but
But here's the thing with Twilight. Twilight's
like,
so
no,
bad
like-
that it's that like you make fun of Twilight. This is
no,
bad, but it has some like.
I'll bring up another urban fantasy. I'll bring up another urban fantasy one. Tumblr's ever so favorite. Fuck, what's it called? It's with the Winchesters in it. Whatever it's called.
All right. Well, Allan's floundering to remember the names of things.
Okay, let's get back on topic.
No. You can't say this is good urban fantasy because Twilight exists. Like
super fucking
is
natural,
mediocre.
by the way.
Oh well, that's
okay.
Yeah,
I've never watched that.
Okay, here's the thing. I sat down, and the reason why I loved it is I sat down, I watched. I'm like, no, this is a really good point to establish a good universe because it's interesting. Like you see all these different species in just background shots, and you're just following the main three species, which are humans, orcs, and elves. Elves are pretentious cock knobs mostly. Orcs are a giant brooding.
It's the standard fantasy stereotypes. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I like the fact that it is like an urban fantasy with world building. But the problem is it's really fucking lazy world building.
It's not even that. It's not bad world building either. It's like it's
just
done well.
Lazy world building.
Yeah, it's just generic.
Yeah, it's.
And like,
it's like the elves are like every fucking pretentious like elf that you've ever seen in a piece of fiction anywhere.
I would have been more.
Orcs are all big meatheads.
Okay, but that's the thing is like with this fantasy genre with how it has like elves, orcs. They're so ingrained. It's like you're gonna end up with a lot of lazy world building. But like the reason why I like it is it's just like it's. Like fuck! I saw the plot twists coming. Like the last plot twist coming at like the
what twist?
What twist?
Yeah, no.
I saw it. I was like, wow. Human is da da da. I'm like Will Smith. I said that out loud, and the guy who already watched the movie looked at me angrily. And they were like, the other two, Chris and Kim, who were watching with me, were like, "What?" And I'm like, "Nothing. Don't worry about it."
Gee, I wonder.
Here's my thing about this movie. Is that it feels like we're watching the second parter of a movie, like series.
See, I like that element.
No, but I don't.
The fact that it's like already a world in like progress, and it still introduces you to all the concepts you need to understand the plot.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that it's not like fucking hand holding me while it introduces me to this world. It does have a lot of stuff in like Allan said in the background.
There's a centaur.
And that's the thing
when
is,
you come
like,
to the cop building, there's a centaur. I'm like, that actually makes sense. There's your mounted police. And then in the background at night, I just see a dragon flying across the screen. I'm like, what?
No, fuck you. The dragon is dumb.
No. So here's the thing. The guy who
you can't just throw a dragon in there and expect us not to go. What? That sounds like way more interesting than this bullshit. What the fuck's the dragon
what makes
up to?
it really funny to me is
do dragons have to like schedule with like airports
in
order to fucking like figure out flight schedules?
You don't understand. I'm watching and I just like when that scene where the dragon's in the background, I spotted the dragon. Like, oh cool, there's dragons in this world too. And the guy who's seen this movie twice now at this point looked up. He's like, oh shit, there is a dragon in the back, because it's such a subtle background thing. That's the reason why I like it. Is like it's such subtle. I do agree. Like the moment you stop and think about dragons flying at night, you're like, it just raises all these red flags. You're like, what about planes? What about helicopters? Ding, 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 ding. Do you have to get like scheduled flight controllers, or are they the flight controllers? And that's the reason why I'm like, there's so much with this world to be built, and I'm like, it's all it is. This is just lazy. Like, I agree with you. It's lazy world building with the fact that it's just a very simple. Here's the baseline. This is what we need for this movie.
Yeah.
But you can just see with all the background, they're like, we can tell these stories too. Make us successful, please.
I would love.
I just want the level of detail that like something like Shadowrun does.
Yeah, remember,
that's the problem.
If it was like actually licensed Shadowrun, it could be so much more interesting.
Can I just say something
as it
very
stands,
quickly?
I'm just going to be. Let me just finish this one thought. As it stands, I'm happy that we like have like something Shadowrun-esque on the big screen. But
On
at the end of the
Netflix,
day, it's still going to be like discount Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Okay, but like with a budget behind it. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Okay. Like, everything that you guys are saying is correct, 100%. My big problem with this movie is that you have an orc cop who literally does nothing wrong in the entire movie, and you have him like he should be the good cop. He should be the guy who
He is the good cop.
but he does a really big fuck up at the beginning of the movie.
How?
Okay, so he lets an orc
And?
go. He should have arrested that orc. Said, we got him, we
No,
got
that
him.
wasn't the
And then
same-
it should have been...
That's the point of the movie. It's that it's not,
It's
the,
not
right
the right
orc.
orc.
Exactly.
dude
Exactly, but
hanging
it
a
would have
wall.
been...
Why would you
That was the
arrest him?
entire point of that scene.
That was the entire
point of his
character
character arc. You finding out this orc has so much honor that he looks at the thing. He's prepared to risk his badge to make sure an innocent man goes free, rather than him going through what is essentially a prejudice system towards orcs. And that's the reason why he's blooded at the end, where you see those orcs show up at the end. They cut their hands, raise their hand, and they honor him. And I'm like, that is a great way to build this story. That was his entire story arc, and he still regrets that
All right, Alan, let Jeff get a word in edgewise.
Sorry.
This entire topic has been me trying to sit there and say this. Is I would have liked it more if he earned the respect of the cops by sitting there and trying to go find this guy, thinking he got the right guy, and then the cops going, the evidence doesn't line up.
No,
That's what I wanted. Because I would have liked it more if they were this guy's not it.
No, that was what happened there, though, is except he helped the guy get away, and the people are the cops are well, there's evidence that the orc went up this way, and no orc has a 10-foot jump radius that I've ever met.
Exactly. And the plot the plot in that sense, Alan, let me finish. The plot in that sense is fine and stuff like that because it makes sense. But the thing is that he's a new recruit. So it would make sense that he got the wrong guy, and then they're going, "Oh, you fucking shithead! You fucking fucked up."
Yeah, but they still are, considering that he didn't get the guy. That's exactly what happened. They're shitting on him because he didn't get the guy. It doesn't matter that even if he got the wrong guy, they would have been fine with him at that point. They were like, "Oh, you caught an orc, good job." And they would have just still shit on him at that point, because even if he got the wrong guy, what would that have changed for him? Nothing.
It wouldn't have changed. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't have changed anything.
Well, yeah, no, it would have. It would have changed his character.
That's the thing. It would have changed his character.
It would have made him
entirely, because the entire one of the plot points that's brought up a couple of times, and actually one of the plot points I have beef with, is that orcs have a really good sense of smell.
Yeah.
And bloodhound levels.
Yeah.
There's a point where he walks into the building. He's like, "There's someone still here. I could smell him." It's you are the first orc cop. Why? I understand that the institutionalized racism is kind of an overarching theme of the movie, but at the same time, people with literal bloodhound noses aren't cops for thousands of years. Because why?
Because we worked for the Dark God.
Yeah, okay,
stuff
but no,
like that.
see,
that just makes this movie bad.
No, it doesn't.
That shit doesn't actually make sense, because I remember. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little real here. So when because I'm gonna talk about some Irish stuff. So when Ireland sucked as a place to live, we had no potatoes to sustain our potato people. We all started dying, so we came over to America. And when the Irish initially came over to America, they were treated like garbage.
Surprise, your indentured servants get to work.
Exactly. No, the Irish had a real shit time, and the reason that turned around for them is because the war happened and the Irish helped out in the war, and it was oh man, these Irish are really great at helping out.
Which war? Are we talking?
I think
yes,
it was
would be.
World War
Okay,
I.
That's the reason why that's the reason why I'm hold up, which war? Because if it,
no, World War I. I'm reasonably certain. Anyway, you don't come to me for historical accuracy. You
fuck off.
Nerd.
That's why I'm wondering. Because I will reference that.
And then people's due to their actions during the war is the reason people's perceptions of the Irish turned around, and then the stereotype went from them being drunken fucking psychopaths who are just like basically not much more than animals, to the stereotype being the good-natured but like a bit goofy Irish cop type thing. Like, and like I feel like if like you have a species of people who have fucking bloodhound noses, they'd probably find a way to like make themselves like it's weird, but like the point of the movie is supposed to be sort of like a racism allegory.
Racism allegory. That wasn't dumb. But like that's the thing is like I agree with you. Like that raises like
it was a bit basic, but it wasn't like eye roll.
Yeah, it was like
right.
Why is this not a thing? Kind of thing, and you're like, well, if they hate them, like yeah, well, okay, yeah, I can't understand. That's the.
Like there's legitimate culture there, and like I think like the cops being like my ancestors killed them by the thousands in Russia was like, okay, that's a little bit stupid and over the top.
And that's the reason.
But other than that, like Will Smith's character's motivations made sense.
Same with the orc guy.
He was the best.
The dirtbag cops, like their motivations didn't make sense. Those were massive caricatures. But Will Smith's character made a lot more sense.
And that's I think my big issue with this movie is that Will Smith is a giant d-bag in this entire movie, but he's a lovable d-bag.
But he's a d-bag who makes sense.
Yeah, and then you get the and then you get the 4 bad cops, and it's like, why are you doing this?
No, yeah, it's like literally like mustache twirling.
Yeah, it's like, cartoon villain, and then you get introduced to the actual real villain. You're like, oh,
like a villain who I had no name of for the longest moment.
Yeah, no,
because I was like sitting there being like, this person is not important.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing is like the way they introduced the well, I refer to them as the Dark Elves because they are just done so well. Is just like I saw them, I'm like, that's the cult, and like you don't learn, like you learn their names, but they're said so sporadically. They're quiet, they're cold, and they make all these like. When you see them fight, you're like, I would not want to fight that. No, thank you.
No, you wouldn't.
It does play up the fantasy element in like a really like good way. I feel.
I could walk again.
No, those villains didn't have. Those villains did not have a lot of like personality to them. I'm not like a huge fan of them. Like I'm not going to remember them too fast, but they served their purpose well. They looked slightly otherworldly, and they like moved in a way that made them like a bit more intimidating than like to the point where you're just like, yeah, I'm not too sure like what these guys are capable of, right?
It's like comparing the gangsters in the movie who have more of an arc to the cops in the movie.
The gangsters don't have a fucking arc. The gangsters were put in to fucking die.
Yeah, like.
I mean, one guy just gets in there and like rolls up in his wheelchair and explains his entire motivations
in like
20 seconds. Like, I like to walk. I'd like to like make love to my woman again. And I'm like, yo, and that was the thing. Again, like they have fantastic motivations, and like you see the Dark Elves, and they explain off screen what their motivations are with the High Elves, where they're like, no, they're trying to bring back the Dark Lord. We kind of need to get this wand before they get the chance to. Let's go, hurry up. Kind of motivation, and I'm like, that's a good motivation. That's all you need for some villains. Is it's just like, no, we want to bring back the big bad guy, and I'm like, okay, and that's all those guys were. Is like the moment they explained that, I stopped caring about any character development for them. The moment I heard that, I'm like, so they are generic cultists, and then you see them fight the first time in that fucking strip club, and you're like, oh shit, yeah.
So yeah,
it was,
and that's not
altogether.
Yeah.
I think it's an IP that has potential, and I'd like to see it develop more and in more interesting ways. As it stands, I'm not angry that it exists. So props to them.
And like that's the thing is like I think that this movie is okay. I don't think it's going to be set the world on fire and stuff like that. But I can understand why it got so many negative reviews.
You mean from all the critics who gave who are all the same ones who gave Star Wars a 10 out of 10?
Yeah,
I'm going to respond with I would not believe those critics.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better than people think it is. And like the one thing I am going to sit there and say is like, if it was me, I would change a few little things here and there.
No, that's the thing is that movie. All you need,
like, I would not make Nick the first orc cop. I would make him the first orc cop in that district, but I would not make him
no,
the first orc.
I don't know. I don't know if.
I think they wanted to build a bigger world than they actually were able to show.
Mhm.
So like having him be the first orc cop ever, while not making sense from like a world perspective, made sense
Actually,
from a narrative
the way
perspective.
it's described is because when you meet the orc gangster, is you hear like that orc gangster describe like New York and like Boston, and you're like, orcs over there are just fucking loved apparently. Like they have like get-togethers, like they're like way better living. They come out to L.A. and they're like, we get daily beatings, and it's just like, I think it was first orc cop in this city, and that's what I think it was.
And that's why
Yeah,
I think
that-
that needed to be clarified.
And I think it is, but I don't think it's clarified very well. I think it's like a one-off line where they mention it just once, and it's just first orc cop, and that's what most people would hear. I'm actually gonna look it up right now. Actually, I'm actually really curious.
But yeah, and I'm kind of excited to see where they go with this.
I'm actually kind of happy that it's getting a sequel.
Yeah, same here.
Because like hopefully this develops in some interesting ways.
Mhm.
It's more like Shadowrun.
I can't wait for the video games to come from this movie. They're just ripping off Shadowrun. Just ripping it off.
And I don't think there's going to be a video game about this movie.
Actually there is a Shadowrun video game. Actually, it's really good.
I'm aware that
They
there are
are really
Shadowrun
good.
video games. They're good.
I'm actually just like looking up this right now because I'm actually curious. But like, no, I like this movie. And by the way, they have explained the plot, and there are centaurs, dwarves, and all these other things. I'm like, why aren't dwarves in the fucking cops?
Because no one cares about
I
dwarves,
do.
Allan. Yeah, you do. God
No, it's
fucking
straight up
fetishes.
Nations Firk Orcish police officer who is partnered with Daryl or whatever his fucking name is, Ward. And I hear that, I'm like, First Nations, so that means it's the first U.S. cop. So in other words, probably all the other countries in the world are like, why aren't you using these guys? Like, dude, we've arrested.
They can smell when people are in a building.
Dude, no, you don't understand. We arrested. We went to the building where like somebody reported a rape, and we found the rapist within 20 minutes. Dude, get them in your thing.
Yeah.
They can smell crime. What the fuck are you doing?
All you have to do is just remove that stereotype, man. Anyways.
All right.
Anything else we want
Is
to
that
talk
a
about? I
podcast?
think so.
Did we get like through an entire podcast talking about like actual media and stuff
Holy
and not getting
fuck, the
sidetracked?
podcast length.
And not getting
We did.
sidetracked
I
about
feel
dicks
like
anymore.
This was a good podcast.
Did we grow up a little?
No.
Did I just
No.
post a video how Nier Automata won a
dude.
Best Award for RPG and
Yes,
no
I
one's there to accept it?
I saw that. That's great. That shit is
Fuck.
great.
Okay.
That's better.
We don't even give a shit about your shitty awards.
By the way, just so we know, Joe Rogan's in this movie, and Joe Rogan as himself. I'm like, fuck yes. I was so happy when I saw that.
God
I'm actually
damn.
like, and that's the thing is like, I'm just like flicking over the thing is like in December Netflix ordered a sequel. Like they were that confident in this movie. And
Can I?
yeah.
Yeah. That I'm excited. And in other news, GPU prices are expected to rise.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Why does this matter?
Because mining shortage. Because people want to build PCs.
Because people want to mine.
And on that disappointment,
Anyway.
we end the show. Thank you for listening to the Black Mind podcast.
Anyways, that who cares? Like I've got my PC built. If I need to buy a new GPU, I will pay the money for the GPU. Fuck off. That doesn't affect me. I can afford it.
Thank you for
All
listening
right,
to the Black Mind
not all of us
podcast.
are just walking around fucking throwing wads of cash around, you bourgeois fuck.
Begone, plebeian scum.
Thank you for listening to the Black Mind Games podcast.
just
My name was
wanted
Jeff.
to
Joining me as always was Josh, Rory, and Allan. You can
Hi.
listen to us
Hello.
every Thursday
Goodbye.
on blackmindgames.podbean.com and YouTube. Have a good night.
God dang it.